Shanti 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 Om Sthapakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Sthapakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varisthaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate, who came to establish universal religion. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's topic I have chosen from the Gospel, important spiritual canons. By being constantly in touch with the world and involving ourselves more and more in the worldly things, the whole system has become tainted by worldliness. So with the whole system tainted by worldliness, cannot experience the glory of spirituality. So it's most important to develop and culture physical, mental, moral and spiritual personality. Sri Ramakrishna said, the aim of spiritual discipline of chanting God's name and glories is to realize one's own true self. A man attains everything when he discovers his true self in himself. The object of sadhana is to realize that. That also is the purpose of assuming a human body. Sri Ramakrishna tells further, one needs the clay mold as long as the gold image has not been cast. But when the image is made, the mold is thrown away. So also, the body may be given up after the realization of God. God is not only inside us, He is both inside and outside. Sri Ramakrishna said, the Divine Mother showed me in the Kali temple that everything is Chinmaya, the embodiment of Spirit. That it is she who has become all this, the image, myself, the utensils of worship, the door sill, the marble floor, everything is indeed Chinmaya. The aim of prayer, of spiritual discipline, of chanting the name and glories of God is to realize that. For that alone a devotee loves God. So, they will come to one karma, bhakti, jnana and yoga who follows them wholeheartedly. The most important instructions of spirituality. They are the unfailing keys to quick and effective development and culture of the physical, mental, moral and spiritual self of man. So what I said earlier is that our whole system, which has been totally tainted by worldliness, must be cleaned properly. It must be, the whole system must be thoroughly cleansed. It has to be done. So, the first step is, you must have very strong resolve that you should completely reformative yourself in a spiritual way. That means you must be prepared to undergo spiritual discipline. Without spiritual discipline, spiritual formation is not possible. So most important thing is, which is rather very difficult for most of the people, is to meditate at the early hours of morning. They call it as Brahma Muhurta. Sri Ramakrishna said in the Gospel, it is good to meditate in the small hours of the morning and at dawn. One should also meditate daily after dusk. The term Brahma Muhurta is mentioned in all our scriptures. All the rishis would be meditating in the Brahma Muhurta. 4 a.m. in the morning is termed as Brahma Muhurta because it is favorable for meditation on God or Brahman, so it's called Brahma Muhurta. At this particular hour, the mind is very calm and serene. It is free from worldly thoughts, worries and anxieties. The mind is like a blank sheet of paper and comparatively free from worldly samskaras. It can be very easily molded at this time before worldly distractions enter the mind. Further, the atmosphere also is charged with more sattva at this particular time. There is no bustle and noise outside. So, we should get up at 4 a.m. daily. This is Brahma Muhurta, which is extremely favorable for sadhana. We should do all our morning spiritual sadhana during this period from 4 a.m. to 6:30 or 7 a.m. Such practice gives quick and maximum progress. That means our day is started with this prayer at the early hours of the morning. So the first important step is to make it a point to get up early hours of the morning and engage oneself in spiritual sadhana. Second, asana. Everything must be very definite when we are doing matters spiritual. It has got great significance. So we must choose a posture which is rather comfortable and suitable. Everyone can select his own particular way of asana, posture for doing spiritual sadhana. Well, sadhana is very important. All the Mahatmas, sages, saints, incarnations, everybody has done tapas. Sri Ramakrishna says in the Gospel, even the Divine Mother had to practice austere sadhana to obtain Lord Shiva as her husband. She practiced Panchatapa. She would also immerse her body in water in winter time and look fixedly at the sun. Krishna himself had to practice much sadhana. And Sri Ramakrishna says further, I had many mystic experiences, but I cannot reveal their contents. Under the bell tree I had many flaming visions. There I practiced the various sadhanas prescribed in the Tantra. In fact, the bell tree is still there. Somehow they have preserved it. Panchavati has gone. Bell tree is still there. So, it is worth visiting that place. And the room where Sri Ramakrishna practiced Advaita Vedanta, initiated by Totapuri, that room also is preserved. And of course, the room where Sri Ramakrishna lived, that also has been preserved properly. So Sri Ramakrishna says, he did various practices according to Tantra. Swamiji said, he needed many articles, human skulls and so forth and so on, because tantric sadhana requires all these items. The Brahmani who came to initiate Sri Ramakrishna into tantric sadhana, she used to collect all these things for Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna says that he practiced a number of mystic postures. If you study Hatha Yoga, there are different types of postures are given there. Padmasana, Siddhasana, Sukhasana, so Shirshasana, Sarvangasana. All these postures, they are very good not only for doing concentration and meditation, but they are very good for maintaining one's health. So, as a part of the discipline, one should take light physical exercises as walking, etc. regularly. And it is also suggested to do breathing exercises so that to have rhythmic breathing, which helps a lot in spiritual practices. 20 rounds of easy, comfortable pranayama, breathing exercise is suggested. Then, third item is japa. Sri Ramakrishna said to the actor who performed well, he said, just as you practice much in order to sing, dance and play on instruments, so one should practice the art of fixing the mind on God. One should practice regularly such disciplines as worship, japa and meditation. It is said that one should repeat mantra received from one's guru 108 times, that is minimum, up to 21,600 times. That one should do daily. Holy Mother used to do japa several thousand times amidst all her household duties. Sri Ramakrishna said in the Gospel about the next discipline to be followed is dietetic discipline. Food is very important. What type of food we take in, that determines the nourishment we receive from the food. Sri Ramakrishna, referring to himself, said, the food must be cooked by a Brahmin observing ceremonial purity and be offered to the deity, then only can I eat. Otherwise Sri Ramakrishna could not eat food. Even now, in Vedanta, they have a special cook for preparing Sri Ramakrishna's dishes. Brahmin cook is still there. They have appointed a Brahmin cook just to do Sri Ramakrishna's dishes. It is generally suggested to take sattvic food, to give up chilies, tamarind, garlic, onion, etc. Everything to be taken in a moderate way. If anything goes excess, it will have negative result. So, Lord Krishna says in the Gita, Yuktahar viharasya. Observe moderation in diet. One shouldn't overload the stomach. So, taking simple food, milk and fruits, they help one to concentrate easily. So food is taken to maintain the body, to maintain its health. Then comes meditation. Everything is definite in spiritual sadhana. You must have a fixed place for doing meditation so that as soon as you enter that place, your mind gets automatically calmed down. You get into the mood of meditation. Then Swadhyaya, that is, study systematically the holy scriptures such as Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Ramayana, Bhagavatam and other sacred books. Then elevate the mind. So mind always tends to go down, but you must be aware of that and try to keep it rise above the ordinary level. So In order to do that, it is suggested one should memorize some prayers, stotras, and one should repeat them when they sit for practicing japa and meditation. So this creating the mood, that helps, having a bhajan, chanting prayers, that will create a good mood so that one can concentrate easily. The next item is brahmacharya. That is, one should preserve the seminal energy. It is said, virya is God in motion or manifestation. Virya is all power. Virya is the essence of life, thought and intelligence. So it doesn't mean that brahmacharya should be followed only by brahmacharis. Householders also must follow it as far as possible. In order to keep the mind active, in order to keep the mind in a sattvic mode, in order to develop sharp intellect, brahmacharya is very useful. So that mind is able to concentrate without much difficulty. The ninth item, charity. That's also one of the most important spiritual disciplines. Sri Ramakrishna said to Surendra, "You tell lies at the office, then why do I eat the food you offer me?" Sri Ramakrishna answers himself, "Because you give your money in charity. You give away more than you earn. The seed of the melon is bigger than the fruit, as the saying goes. I can't eat anything offered by miserly people." Sri Ramakrishna said, "Their wealth is squandered in these ways. First, litigation. Second, thieves and robbers. Third, physicians. Fourth, their wicked children's extravagance." It is like that. Sri Ramakrishna explains. Your giving money away in charity is very good. Those who have money should give in charity. The miser's wealth is spirited away. But the money of the charitable person is saved. He spends it for a righteous purpose. At Kamarpakor, Sri Ramakrishna said, "I have seen the farmers cutting channels to irrigate their fields. Sometimes the water rushes in with such force that the ridges around the fields are washed away and the crops destroyed. For this reason, the farmers make holes here and there in the ridges. Since the water escapes through the holes, the ridges are not destroyed by the rush of the water. Furthermore, the escaping water deposits soft clay in the fields, which increases their fertility and gives a richer crop. He who gives away in charity achieves great results. He achieves the four fruits: dharma, artha, kama and moksha." These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. Do charity regularly, every month or even daily according to your means. Never fail in this item. If necessary, forego some personal wants, but keep up this charity regularly. The 10th discipline is have satsang. That almost all the Mahatmas have said. Sri Ramakrishna gives primary importance for satsang. Give up bad company. Give up smoking, meat, alcoholic liquors entirely. Have constant association with holy people or people devoted to God. Never develop any evil habits. Deliberately exert to develop positive virtuous qualities. Sri Ramakrishna said, of course this I have dealt with previously when I was talking about 5 commandments. Keep holy company and now and then visit God's devotees and holy men. The mind cannot dwell on God if it is immersed day and night in worldliness. in worldly duties and responsibilities. The companionship of the holy and the wise is one of the main elements of spiritual progress. So, company influences immensely. If a person is continuously in the company of bad, he becomes bad. If he is in the company of the holy, he becomes holy. Then, 11th item is to undertake fasting. Generally, in Hindu tradition, they fast on Ekadashi. That means some people, they do fasting by just taking milk and fruits only. The idea is, when you are fasting, it is easy to keep the mind under check and divert it towards God. 12th item is Japamala. Have a rosary around your neck or in your pocket or underneath your pillow or at night. This will remind you of God. So keep repeating the beads, rotating the beads during your leisure time. You should repeat the name at all times, whatever task you may be engaged in. Once, it reminds me, I was traveling from Bangalore to Calcutta by train, Howrah Express, famous train. It takes 2 or 3 days to reach Calcutta. So you have to spend in the train 2 nights. There sometimes these Hare Krishna people would come, and I would observe them. Throughout the day they would be rotating the bead. Even while they are talking, the hands will be moving, the beads will be moving. Amazing. So the idea is not to forget God. This is the idea of Sri Krishna telling in Gita, Sarveshu Kaleshu Mamanusmara. Sarveshu Kaleshu, all the time repeat me, wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. Mentally, keep part of the mind on the divine. Then everything will be taken care of. 13th item is observe silence. Mauna. So it is suggested at least for a couple of hours daily one should follow the discipline of silence. One shouldn't make gestures and inarticulate noises during the period of silence. 14th item is discipline of speech. Vangmaya tapas, Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Speak the truth at all cost. Speak a little. If at all you speak sweetly. Always utter encouraging words. Never condemn, criticize or discourage. Do not raise your voice and shout at little children or your subordinates. So that is the discipline of speech. 15th item is be content. So contentment is to be practiced by controlling our wants. It is possible to practice it by practicing detachment mentally. That means one should have plain living and high thinking. Always try to share with others. Think of those who do not possess even 1/10 of what you have. 16th item is practice love. That is, never hurt anyone. Ahimsa paramo dharmaha. Ahimsa is the highest virtue. Control anger by love, kshama, forgiveness, and daya, compassion. Serve the sick and the poor with love and affection. This is service of God. Next is be self-reliant. Self-reliance is the highest of all virtues. Don't depend upon others, depend on only your own self. Be confident that you can achieve anything. That self-confidence must be built up properly. The 18th item is have self-analysis, introspection. There's possibility that we make mistakes in course of day. But the point is, we should analyze and find out what mistakes we have done and try to rectify it. So it is suggested that before retiring to bed, one should look in within himself and try to find out what mistakes he has committed on that day. So that is self-correction has to be taken. And in order to be firmly on right track, we should not brood over past mistakes. Then 19th item is do your duty. Remember that death is awaiting you at every moment. Never fail to fulfill your duties. Have pure conduct, sadachara. So doing duty, now Sri Ramakrishna also tells very clearly how one should perform one's duty. And then in the midst of duty one shouldn't forget God. So God should be first priority. Amidst all whatever we do, we must be constantly thinking about God. The last item, the 20th item is remember God always. Think of God as soon as you wake up and just before you go to sleep. And at all other times, whether engaged in any work or not, repeat His name always. Surrender yourself completely to God. This is called Prapatti. It's also called Sharanagati. This is the essence of all spiritual sadhana. If one does this sadhana wholeheartedly, it leads one to liberation. All these spiritual canons must be rigidly observed. We must not give any leniency to the mind. So, this is the way how we should cleanse our whole system. Thoroughly it should be clean. As I said, the whole system has become tainted by worldliness. It has become rock-like. As if we are helpless, you can't do anything, you can't get out of this worldliness. Like a rock, thick rock, it has glued itself into our system. But we have to break that glue. We have to purify ourselves by practicing these disciplines. Then surely we will be able to experience the glorious spirituality and the divine bliss of the realization of the truth. Page 896. Narendra entered the room and sat near Sri Ramakrishna. Since the death of his father, he had been very much worried about the family's financial condition. He now had to support his mother and brothers. Besides, he was preparing himself for his law examination. Lately he had served as a teacher in the Vidyasagar school at Bhaubazar. He wanted to make some arrangement for his family and thus get rid of all his worries. Sri Ramakrishna knew all this. He looked affectionately at Narendra. Master said to him, "Well, I said to Keshav, one should be satisfied with what comes unsought. The son of an aristocrat does not worry about his food and drink. He gets his monthly allowance. Narendra too belongs to a high plane. Then why is he in such straitened circumstances? God certainly provides everything for the man who totally surrenders himself to him." Yam said, "Narendra too will be provided for. It is not yet too late for him." Master said, "But a man who feels intense renunciation within does not calculate that way. He doesn't say to himself, I shall first make an arrangement for the family and then practice sadhana. No, he doesn't feel that way if he has developed intense dispassion. A Goswami said in the course of his preaching, if a man has 10,000 rupees, he can maintain himself on the income. then free from worries, he can pray to God. Keshav Sen also said something like that. He said to me, Sir, suppose a man wants, first of all, to make a suitable arrangement of his property and estate and then think of God. Will it be all right for him to do so? Is there anything wrong about it? I said to him, when a man feels utter dispassion, he looks on the world as a deep well and his relatives as venomous cobras. Then he can't think of saving money or making arrangements about his property. God alone is real and all else is illusory. To think of the world instead of God. To think of the world instead of God. A woman was stricken with intense grief. She first tied her nose ring in the corner of her cloth and then dropped it to the ground, saying, Oh friends, what a calamity has befallen me. But she was very careful not to break the nose ring. All laughed. At these words, Narendra felt as if struck by an arrow and lay down on the floor. M understood what was going through Narendra's mind and said with a smile, What's the matter? Why are you lying down? The master said to him with a smile. He reminded me of a woman who felt ashamed of herself for sleeping with her brother-in-law and could not understand the conduct of those women who lived as mistresses of strangers. By way of excusing herself, she said, After all, a brother-in-law is one's own. But even that kills me with shame. And how do these women dare to live with strangers? M himself had been leading a worldly life. Instead of being ashamed of his own conduct, he smiled at Narendra. That was why Sri Ramakrishna referred to the woman who criticized the conduct of immoral women, though she herself had illicit love for her brother-in-law. A Vaishnava minstrel was singing downstairs. Sri Ramakrishna was pleased with his song and said that someone should give him a little money. A devotee went downstairs. The master asked, how much did he give the singer? When he was told the devotee had given only 2 paisa, he said, just that much? This money is the fruit of his servitude. How much he had to flatter his master and suffer to earn it. I thought he would give at least 4 annas. The younger narrator had promised to show Sri Ramakrishna the nature of electricity with an instrument. The instrument was exhibited. It was about 2 o'clock. Sri Ramakrishna and the devotees were sitting in the room. Atul brought with him a friend who was a Munsif, Bagchi, the famous painter from Shikadrapara, arrived. He presented the master with several paintings. Sri Ramakrishna examined the pictures with great delight. Bagchi had long hair like a woman's. Sri Ramakrishna said, many days ago, a sannyasi came to Dakshineshwar who had hair 9 cubits long. He used to chant the name of Radha. He was genuine. A few minutes later, Narendra began to sing. The songs were full of the spirit of renunciation. He sang, O Lord, must all my days pass so utterly in vain? Down the path of hope I gaze with longing day and night. He sang again, O Mother, thou my inner guide, ever awake within my heart, day and night thou holdest me in thy lap. Why dost thou show such tenderness to this unworthy child of thine? Then he sang, O gracious Lord, if like a bee my soul cannot embed itself deep in the lotus of thy feet, what comfort can I find in life? What can I gain with wealth untold, neglecting thee, supreme wealth? I take no pleasure in the sight of the most lovely infant's face, if all its loveliness reveals no trace of thy dear features there. Moonlight is meaningless to me as darkest night, if thy love's moon rise not in my soul's firmament. The purest wife's unspotted love is stained if in it is not set the priceless gem of love divine. O Lord, whenever doubts of Thee, born of base error and neglect, assails my mind, I writhe in pain, as from a serpent's poisonous fangs. What more, O Master, shall I say? Thou art my heart's most precious jewel, the hope of everlasting joy. It was 5:30 in the afternoon when Dr. Sarkar came to the master's room at Champakor, felt his pulse and prescribed the necessary medicine. Many devotees were present, including Narendra Girish, Dr. Dukari, the younger Narendra Kal, M. Sharath and Shyam Basu. We shall stop here. So one has to undertake spiritual discipline with all earnestness. Everything becomes easy. But in the beginning we have to struggle. Just like learning the music, how much you have to practice. Really. So all through our lives, life after life, passing through worldliness, suddenly you wake up. You wake up to reality. Now you are retreat. You are turning back towards spirituality. How much you have to work hard to get rid of all worldliness which you have accumulated through lives and lives. Anyway, just to surrender to God and be sincere and do practice, everything will be done by God Himself. That's all. No question? Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of Thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that path for weary souls. Various are Thy names, O Lord, in each and every name Thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of Thy name. So vast is Thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to Thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to Thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when the instant separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence. Though it tears my soul asunder, O Thou who stealest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.